Hello, welcome to Video Mania 2. I'm the man behind the counter, Duncan, and today we're going to talk about a new release from Shout Factory. It is the 1994 action movie Surviving the Game, directed by Ernest Dickerson. It has a great cast here. You have Ice-T, Rutger Hauer, Charles S. Dutton, Gary Busey, F. Murray Abraham, John C. McGinley, and William McNamara. So this premise has been done many times. It's based loosely off the short story The Most Dangerous Game about hunters, or a hunter that hunts humans. So here you have a group of hunters hunting a human, and it is played by a homeless guy who's down on his luck, played by Ice-T. It's a guy named Mason. So the story here starts out, Mason is really down on his luck, and just everything that can go wrong goes wrong for him. You just start out getting to know this character. He's homeless, he's fighting for food scraps, he has a couple friends and even sort of a pet in the beginning of the movie, that he's befriended, and he ends up losing both of them early in the movie, and he's just done. He's like, I can't keep doing this. I've already been through enough, which you learn more about later. And, he even tries to break into a meat locker to get some food for him, some others in the encampment, just to have some good food for once. And he gets caught doing that. And a guy at the local mission kind of sees him, sees what he's going through, all the different things and trials and tribulations he's going through, and just kind of keeps an eye on him. And this is Cole, played by Charles S. Dutton. But after he loses, his sort of pet and, a dog that he befriended in the homeless encampment, and then his best friend in the homeless encampment, he's just distraught. He's like I said, after everything he went through, he's just done, and he wants to throw himself in front of a moving truck. And Cole pulls him out of the way of the moving truck. He's like, look, I can help you. Life's been good to me. I can help you get back on your feet. You just caused some bad luck. I want to give back. I want to help you. And, Mason's like, I don't want any help. I'm done. But, Cole was kind of persuasive and persistent. He's like, I can get you a job, a good one, with some real money. And he's just like, there's part of the survival still left in him and some will to live. And he's like, okay, what kind of a job? He's like, to help us scout hunts in the wilderness. He's like, I don't know anything about the wilderness. So he should have caught on right there that, maybe something's up. I mean, is that the kind of guy, when I just talked about him, is that somebody you take out in the wilderness? Does that sound like that's his area of expertise at all? He even said, I don't know anything about that. He's like, but with my recommendation, I think I can get you on. So he meets a guy named Burns, played by Rutger Hauer. And Rutger Hauer's like, I don't think you're in the shape for this kind of work. And he's like, I'm desperate. He's like, put me on that treadmill then. He's like, okay, you sustain this speed on the treadmill, I'll give you $20. So through sheer will and determination, he does it, even though he smokes all the time. And he got through it, and he's like, he was that desperate for $20, so he gets himself a room for the night, and cuts his hair a little bit and tries to look a little more presentable for the job. And Burns comes in, gives him some clothes, and he flies him out to the wilderness. And he's like, okay, I'm eating well. What's this job exactly entail? I don't know, but I'm getting new clothes and a good meal, so this sounds good so far. And then he meets the other people. He shakes their hand, and he meets other people who turn out to be his hunters, and he shakes their hand, and they have a great meal together, and then he sleeps. And then he wakes up the next morning, and Cole, Charles S. Dutton here, his character, turns on him. He has a gun in his face. He's like, it's time to run. And he's like, what are you talking about? What's this job? He's like, we're going to hunt you. We're going to have a nice leisurely breakfast and take our time, and that's your head start, so get going. And the cinematography here is very brilliant. It's done by Bohan Bazelli. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's done very well here, and you see all the different people, and Gary Busey does what Gary Busey does, and he just starts going off, and he's like, what? And they run him out of there, hold a gun to his head, and they're like, let's have our breakfast, and then we'll hunt him. And they have ATVs and everything, and he's on foot, and he doesn't know anything about the wilderness. But, that's what these people did. They preyed on somebody that had nothing to lose. And so he goes out there in the wilderness, doesn't know where he is, doesn't know what to do, but there's still an instinct to survive within him. So that's what he does. And as he does this, the hunters have their leisurely breakfast. They get on the ATVs and start going after him. And each of these characters are developed fairly well. You know about them. They want to experience like what they think is a true hunt and go after a human. And Wolf's son, played by F. Murray Abraham's son, Wolf Sr., William McNamara plays Wolf Jr., and he's not really down with all this, and they kind of explore that a little bit because he's like, this is kind of wrong. And that plays into it later, into the story. But here, it all looks really good, and you learn about these characters, and you learn about Ice-T's character, Mason, why he was so distraught, why he was down on his luck, and then what he's trying to do to survive, and what the other hunters, what their motivations are to an extent, why they're out there. And so there's some good interactions between them. And so it's a really fun movie with a premise that's been done many times, but the execution is here, and the acting, because you have such a great cast here, is really good. And I think this is, in my opinion, I haven't seen a whole ton of Ice-T's work, but I think this is his best performance that I've seen him in. So you do get behind his character. Now, the transfer here, the 4K scan on the Blu-ray, is excellent. In the city scenes in the beginning of the movie, it looks okay. It's not bad. And then when you get out in the wilderness with the cinematography and the production design that was done by a Christian Wagner, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and even the costume design by Ruth E. Carter when they have their camouflage and like hunting gear, all that really pops on this scan. It looks really, really good, because I streamed it a few months back when I heard about this announcement, and it looked okay, but this is definitely a step up. So the scan's very good, the sound is solid, the music isn't a big bombastic score, it just accompanies the story for the most part, but the dialogue is crisp and clear. You can hear Gary Busey when he tells, his character tells Mason a disturbing story when they're eating before the hunt starts, and you can hear all that crystal clear, and it's kind of unnerving and sets you up for the rest of the story. But all that is really good. Now let's get into my gripes. Like I said, the picture is excellent, but Shout Factory, I don't know if the actor strike has anything to do with this. I don't know if the actors are not allowed to participate in special features for older releases or anything like that. I don't know. If you do know, let me know in the comments. I'm not sure about that. I know they can't take part in promotions of upcoming films due to the strike, but I don't know about old Blu-ray releases. But anyway, these are my gripes. The special features is just a commentary by Ernest Dickerson, which I haven't listened to, but I'm sure it's a good listen with, get his insights in the film since he directed it. But I would have loved to have heard from F. Murray Abraham or Ice-T and let them reflect back on what their experience was making it, have something, or, have a Zoom call with us, Charles S. Dutton, Ice-T, and F. Murray Abraham, hell, even Gary Busey or something, and do something to let them talk about it and reflect on it for almost 30 years later. I think that'd be a good listen. I don't know if they weren't allowed to or if Shout Factory didn't do it. I don't know what happened, but I would have liked something like that. So that's my gripe here. And the other gripe I have is the artwork. While I don't hate it, you got Rutger Hauer's character here. Ice-T was the protagonist. I thought he should have been, featured more prominently, in the cover here. I don't hate this cover. It just kind of is what it is. I preferred the original artwork. I think I'd have done that on a reversible, which it doesn't have. So that's kind of a little bit of a gripe. But here's the inside. The disc looks okay. And there is a scene from the movie at the dinner. I don't know if you can see that. The glare is kind of bad, but there's that. So if you're a fan of this film, absolutely get this. It's the best it's ever looked, and the sound is solid. So, I think this is kind of a more underappreciated film. So Shout Factory really hit a home run with its presentation and all that. But I guess as a collector, as this is becoming more of a collector's market, I would have liked a little more. So that's my main gripe. But overall, I would still recommend picking it up. I pre-ordered a while back and got it early, sat down and watched it last night. So I'm glad I have it in the grand scheme of things. So let me know in the comments, do you think it should have had more special features? What did you think of the movie? Do you think it's underappreciated? Let me know any of those things. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.